Tuesday night edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Even though the weather's been, frankly, pretty boring lately, we always try to find some interesting things to talk about on this video, and I think you'll find that to be the case tonight as well. And unfortunately today, our forecast fell 1 degree shy of getting a check mark. Northeast breeze today. It should have gotten into the upper 60s today, but a northeast breeze coming in off of Lake Erie. Even though we're pretty far from the lake, that cooler air trickles down into at least Trumbull and Mercer counties. And although a lot of places in Mahoning and Columbiana County got to 68 or 69 degrees today, at the airport it stopped at 65, so we did not get a check mark today. We've missed 3 out of 19 days. It's been a pretty good month in the month of April as far as our forecasts go. And when we take a look at the month, it's been a streaky month. We had a streak of 7 consecutive below average days from the 7th through the 13th. And now we've reeled off 6 consecutive above average days, and even though today was 15 degrees cooler, it was still about 5 degrees above average. For the month, we're still about 3 degrees below the average. Told you late in March and early in April that I think April will shake out to be a pretty typical month, temperature-wise. Much more average than February and March, which were way above average, both months, and December was too. I said April would be more like January in terms of how we would do relative to the averages, and I still think that's going to work out, that April is going to just go into the books as a pretty standard April. All right, this is a hot topic at this time of the year. When is it safe to plant? To get a garden going, to get some flowers outside, that sort of thing. And, if you've lived here long enough, you know that it's, historically speaking, it's too early still, despite all the nice weather we've had. These are the odds that you've seen your last freeze by a certain date. We're kind of in between the 17th and the 22nd right now, so I'd say historically speaking, our odds of having seen the last freeze by this date are about 15%, pretty low. I do think that with a fairly mild pattern coming up, and especially as we head into early May, that the odds are a little bit higher this year. I would say the odds that we've seen our last freeze as of now are 30 to perhaps 40%. Now, those still aren't great odds. You're still, rolling the dice a little bit if you try to plant this early. But I do think that odds are a little higher this year compared to most years that we've seen our last freeze through this date. We've had freezes as late as May 27th, though, so it can happen well into the month of May. All right, if you've got itchy and watery eyes and sneezing, it's tree pollen. Of course, everything is blooming. We haven't any rain now in about 5, 6, 7 days, and so the tree pollen is going to remain pretty high through tomorrow. Then I think you're going to start to see these numbers get trimmed at the end of the week, maybe back to the moderate category, as we finally see some raindrops heading our way Thursday into Friday. No rain tonight, though. It's going to be a mostly clear night. It will be a night to close the windows. It will be chillier. A lot of us will wake up in the upper 30s tomorrow morning. High pressure to our east tomorrow. We'll have a gentle southeast wind. It's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. Chilly start, but we'll be somewhere between 70 and 73 in most backyards tomorrow afternoon with a good deal of sun. We'll start to notice some high clouds pushing in towards the end of the day. Should make for a nice sunset. And then by Thursday morning, warm front taking shape off to our west. And this might spark a shower here and there at the start of the day. I suspect the day overall, though, is not a washout Thursday. In fact, there'll probably be a good chunk of dry weather midday, early afternoon, before showers become more likely again here towards dinner time Thursday evening, and the threat for some showers will stick around through part of the day Friday. I think we might try to dry it out Friday afternoon, although some of the modeling is a little bit slower with that drying process, so I'm going to allow for showers at any point Friday, even though I think they're most likely in the morning. Models generally an average of 1/2 inch. The RPM and the GFS, the current runs, are closer to 3/4 of an inch. European and the NAM are down around 1/4 of an inch. So there's a little bit of a spread there, and that's pretty typical a couple of days out. But 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch worth of rain Thursday into Thursday night and parts of Friday. All right, let's take a look at the GFS model as we head into the weekend. I think the weekend starts out on a dry note. Nice day Saturday. No, it's not going to be a real warm Saturday. In fact, it'll be a little below average. We have a high of 60 in the forecast, and by Saturday, our average high is about 61, 62. But high pressure almost right overhead. It'll be a nice day. So we head into Sunday. Clouds should increase, and our forecast starts to get really challenging for Sunday and for Monday, all because of this front, which by Sunday evening will be kind of laid out like this. This might try to bring a shower very late Sunday, but if it happens, I think it's very late. I think most of Sunday is just fine, and a little bit warmer than Saturday. And then the big challenge for early next week, and this is 6 days out, so we got plenty of time to iron this out, is how far does this front sag? Here's the GFS Monday afternoon, suggesting the front is almost right on top of us, with a chilly high building in from the north. This would produce maybe a little bit of light rain or drizzle. And watch when I bring up the temperature plot here on the GFS. Look at the gradient on either side of this front. In fact, let me zoom into our local area here and bring up Monday afternoon. This is a forecasting kind of nightmare, if you will. This is Monday afternoon on the GFS. If you took this literally, it's 74 in New Philly and 47 in Youngstown. 80 miles as the crow flies at most. So there's a big bust potential early next week. We've got a forecast in the lower 60s on Monday. I could see that being right. I could see that being too high by 10 degrees. I could see it being too low by 10 degrees. So a lot of time to iron this out, but Monday's forecast is a real headache. From an impact standpoint, it's just too early to tell you what to wear on Monday, but it could be a shorts kind of a day. It could be a sweater and a jacket kind of a day on Monday. So that's a challenging forecast. All right, the rest of next week, what we're going to have setting up next week is a chilly pattern for New England. You've got a big block up here over Greenland with low pressure trapped over eastern Canada and New England, and it'll be a chilly week in Maine and New Hampshire and down towards Boston. And it'll be a warm week down in the southeast. And we're going to be kind of somewhere in between. So I think for most of next week, we'll see a lot of temperatures pretty close to average. Then I think a better chance of seeing some warmer weather comes our way towards the end of next week into next weekend. So here's the 29th. Here's the 30th. Cold trough out here, ridge popping up in the east. So I think a lot of next week is pretty average, but it might end on a fairly warm note and heading into the final weekend, the final day, I should say, of April on the 30th. Might turn pretty toasty. All right, that's tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks as always for watching, and I always appreciate all the Weather Geeks out there checking in. I will see you tonight on 21 News at 11. If you're up early, check out Jess's forecast tomorrow morning on WFMJ Today.